smart to be broke. I'm too smart to be broke. Where's the money? I'm too smart.
Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Cornelius, Too Smart to Be Broke. I want to thank you for coming to the channel today. If it's your first time here, I'm only talking about making money online, generational wealth, business credit, and things of that nature, all right? So I appreciate you for tapping in today. What I'm going to be talking about today is how to get no PG business credit cards, all right? Hopefully I'll make a long story, short and just get straight to the point today. So I normally talking about no PG business credit as well as many others. It's been a while since I made a no PG business credit video. A PG business credit video, I believe. So let's go and get into that. First things first, you may be asking, saying, hey, what is a PG? So PG in layman's terms, before I get into this, I'm not a financial advisor, attorney, accountant, fiduciary, mentor. I'm not any of these things. I'm just expressing some insight. Please go out and do your own due diligence and speak to a qualified representative before making any decisions with your business. All right. So with that being said, look, a PG is a personal guarantee, and in layman's terms, that's when an individual is going to go ahead and co-sign on behalf of the business. Meaning, if you default, don't pay the business doesn't pay the money back, it will show up on your personal credit report. So that is a major con, right? So why a lot of people don't like to do it, because the business is supposed to be separate from the individual, and it really is. Those are two separate entities. But the way that this matrix is set up, they like for us to tie ourselves to something. So it's very like to keep us kind of like locked in and not knowing, like, we're not able to pivot and move strategically because we don't understand some of the stuff. So a corporation or LLC, those entities, those type of entities are separate from the individual. That's like they're their own person, if you didn't know. All right, they're fictitious persons, since we live in a fictitious system when it comes to dealing with these. Anyway, so long story short, your credit score needs to be above 680 or better, preferably. All right, mid 700s, high 700s, 800s, okay, something like that. Typically having more than 4 or 5 things on your credit, probably more than that. You probably want to like at least 2 or 3 credit cards in good standing, maybe a car note, maybe a loan, maybe a mortgage, and everything is in good standing, okay. And preferably having limits over 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, because if you are PGing, then a lot of those limits will mimic the limits that you have on your personal side, okay? And there is ways to get personal credit cards up to those limits. Okay, so that's one thing, one area you want to focus on. Okay, so if you're somebody who has credit limits with 5,000, 10,000, 15 to 20,000, or you have high limits and there's some low limits, all right, you might want to ask yourself, why do you have these low limit credit limits? Why are you holding on to them? All right, because it could negatively affect you when you try to go on out and work on getting some big monies. All right, so typically, yes, when you're starting a business, the business credit foundation is something that I talk about a lot. Having a business address, phone number, email, having all that stuff situated. However, when you're moving with the PG, since the individual was so tied up with it and they got all the individual's information and history, they like, okay, we don't need all that. This individual is just attaching themselves to this business. So they use that information pretty much to leverage to get the credit funded. Now, it's completely up to you about how you want to move with your business, because these are times where we need to get it right now. All right. So I'm not telling you what to do, but if you're in a position to like, okay, I need to get this funding and get my business off the ground, and we can fix some stuff later. I get it. I respect it. Okay. So just keep in mind, if you are moving with a home address, all right, then, you just be able to pull your business up from the house, and it's not really separating the house from the individual from the business. All right. The same thing with PG. All right. Go talk to an attorney or something like that, or accountant, to figure that out and work that out. All right. But I've seen people just use a home-based address, get their funding because they had good personal credit, and they go off on their business because they goals and they directives may be a little bit different than somebody else's. But just be aware of how interconnected the business and the individual is. And to be honest, most of us get tripped up with that anyway, because they make it very challenging not to be connected with it. All right. So with that being said, I know I keep saying that with that being said, but look, if you don't have a good credit score, maybe you have a business partner that has a good personal credit score and doesn't mind co-signing or rather, I mean, personal guaranteeing for the business. Maybe it's a business partner, maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a lover, maybe it's a baby mama, whatever it may be. Maybe y'all have some type of business agreement where you say, hey, well, when we get this, you know, boom, 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 and you can make yourself or themselves the first employee. I'm saying you can be strategic. I'm not telling you what to do. All right. I'm just telling you that you may have options that you may have not realized. So first thing first, have a good credit score. If not, work on fixing your credit score. There are things out there. I'll make some more posts about that. You know, ways you can get $5,000, $10,000 credit lines out the gate. Just with trade lines reporting, stuff like that. And typically, when you're going to fill out these applications, say you're walking in to go get a Chase card like I did. When I first started, I had a decent personal credit score. You know, I had business address, phone number, bank account. I had all this stuff set up already. And I was like going through these motions of trying to figure out how to get funding when my business was new, not really generating a lot of revenue. Like, what do I do? So I said, I'm going to go ahead and leverage this personal credit and see what it do. And so, boom, I went out to like 3 or 4 places at one time. You know, I'm not telling you what to do, but I said, I'm going to hit everybody the same day. Okay, I'm gonna hit everybody the same day, and I'm gonna see what happened. I don't know. My logic was maybe if I hit them the same day, it won't pull up on the credit report that fast or whatever. You know, I had some type of logic to it. So I went and did that, and it was pretty much the same process every I went in. I carried a little binder with me. All right, in my binder, I kept my certificate of formation or my articles of organization, depending on what state you're in. They like the same thing, but it's gonna be termed one of the two. To keep it simple, you can go to your Secretary of State. They have other third-party services as well that make it easy for you to get your certificate of formation or your certificate of filing or articles of organization. One of them is InkFile. If you don't want to go to your Secretary of State, InkFile provides a nice service, and if you don't get any extra, you can pay the same price you would the Secretary of State, but it makes it easier for you. Of course, when you want additional stuff, okay, they're going to charge you for it. But I'll put a link to InkFile just in case y'all want to check that out, in case it's something that you want a seamless process as far as starting your business out, all right? Something else that I have in here besides my certificate of formation and my certificate of filing, I have my EIN number. So I went to irs.gov. I got an EIN number. I also have wrote down that paper of my Dun & Bradstreet number as well, so I can have them hand in hand when I'm filling out business applications. I also have my operating agreement. I also have my bylaws in here as well. I may have I have a Google spreadsheet where I have done business with other vendors that you can use as sources or reference. Say you have a business phone, or you got some Net 30 accounts, or whatever, just business accounts anyway. Just having them down as a reference helps build up credibility as well while you're filling out some of these applications. So that's something that you can put on a Google spreadsheet and update from time to time, and possibly even print out and keep in your binder as well. I have my registered agent information here as well. So InkFile does provide a free registered agent, I think, for the first year, or that's pretty much in layman's terms now, somebody who accepts important mail on behalf of the business. We'll say it like that. All right. So these are things that I have in my binder, and anything else that maybe come from having a business account, licenses and stuff like that. I keep all that there because if they ask for any of this stuff, especially going to the bank, they're going to ask for an EIN number. Not Dun & Bradstreet. That's sometime you can get that to them. They're going to ask for maybe your operating agreement. They're going to ask for some of these things most of the time. So I keep that with me. And when you're going in, you fill out the application. If you're new in business, they may ask you how much does your business intend to make, so write down what your business tends to make. Okay. Just do everything moral and ethical, and whatnot. So, like for me, when I went, I think I hit a couple places. Chase was one of those places, and it's the same process. Another area that I think they kind of you might get caught up on if you're not prepared is the NAISC code. Okay, so that is their result. That talks about the type of business that you have, and if you're not if you have like a high risk industry, that can affect you getting funding or something like that. But what happens is, depending on what you state you're in, when you're going out to file for your business, they don't necessarily you don't necessarily get to click, or here's my NAIC code for my business. Typically what happens is, they ask you when you're applying at these places, oh, what do you do for your business? What is your business? And when they're on their end, they're searching for that NAIC code, but they not going to be telling you that. So make sure that the type of business you have and type of business you tell them, you already done your research to look up the type of NAIC code that you have, and you're not a high risk business when it comes to funding. All right. So when you have your booklet right here intact, all right, you made up your mind whether you're going to have a business address or you're going to use your home address, depending on how much you want to work on keeping your business separate from the individual, and your credit score is 720 plus, that will allow you to PG. All right. Now, the thing about PGing is most of these places will give you a hard inquiry on your personal credit. So you want to keep your personal credit tight. You don't want multiple inquiries, okay? Just running all over the place, running crazy. So be mindful of the places that are going to pull a hard pull on your personal credit report, because you want to do that. You want to be very specific and time that out. You don't want too many inquiries at one time. And also the difference is when you're applying for other accounts that are not doing hard pulls on your personal credit, then that means you can apply without it affecting you negatively, because it doesn't really affect the business side that heavy. All right. And just before we go, some tips or just some credit cards to be mindful of when you're getting started out. Okay. When you're getting started out and you see a Capital One Business Spark or Business Credit Card and Discover Business Credit Card, know that these cards, okay, are personal guaranteed cards that will report to both sides. If not just the personal, they will provoke to both sides. Now, you think that maybe is that beneficial? For me, it's not beneficial, because you want to keep those two separate. And however, when you're dealing with business credit, when you're talking about Dun & Bradstreet, Business Experience, Business Equifax, all right, when you report to them, it does not when your utilization is high, it does not negatively affect your personal credit score, okay? But if you have a Capital One card or a Discover card or some other card that's reporting on your personal side, and it's a high utilization, it's going to negatively affect your credit, your personal credit report. So keep that in mind as well, right? But most of these cards, like American Express, like Chase, like Navy Federal, like BOA, all right, Wells Fargo. And there's a lot of places out there that are providing business funding without reporting it to the personal credit profile. So that's something I want you all to be mindful of, okay? And you can go to somewhere like creditcards.com and search for some business credit cards that may be beneficial for you all to get. All right, just be mindful, have all that stuff in place. I hit 3 or 4 places in one day because I had mapped it out. Lines of credit are something that I like to get before credit cards, because you can pull that money out and it's just easier to do so. So those are some things that you can just check into. If you're interested in learning more about business credit, how to get started, and everything that I did, step by step, I have a business credit course in my bio, so if you want to check that out, you can. But if you don't, I highly suggest you go check out nav.com. I have a link for them below. Nav.com is going to run you through some basic steps. If you've never looked for your business like online, or try to search if you are in the business directories, nav.com will allow you to do that. All right. And they have business credit monitoring service. They have a free version. All right. So if you want to go check that out, that's great. I use them, you know what I'm saying? And they do have a version that reports to all 3 business credit bureaus if you're looking to build your business credit that way as well. All right. I am affiliate of them. I get like $8 when you sign up for the free version. And but I do use them. So that's why I talk about them so much. But with that being said, if you want to tap in with the business credit course and learn the proper steps to PG and no PG your business credit, you go check that link out in the description. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
I'm too smart to be broke. I'm too smart to be broke. I'm too smart to be broke. Where's the money? I'm too smart to be broke. I'm too smart to be broke.